It was unconvincing, but they both got there in the end, didn't they? Portugal and France are the new participants in the quarterfinals as they will face off on Friday in the quarterfinals on the same bracket as Spain and Germany. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about France's defense is absolutely incredible. And this team, despite their poor performances throughout the entire tournament, you need to watch out for these guys. Portugal and Ronaldo continue to serve up an absolute comedic genius of a show. Slovenia actually put up a good fight. They actually put up a good fight. Let's discuss it. Now, the first place I want to discuss is Portugal-Slovenia because I didn't have too many intricate thoughts on this game. I generally just wanted to talk about what the game was in itself. And I had three things that I genuinely wanted to talk about. And the first thing that I really wanted to talk about, and it's the thing everybody's talking about, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? We all know Cristiano Ronaldo. And this is my biggest pet peeve with Cristiano Ronaldo right now as a footballer. This man is one of the best players to ever play the game. I cannot articulate the words to describe what Ronaldo has done for his fans, his haters, and just mere bystanders in the sport as a whole. He has influenced an entire generation, upcoming generation, both at this tournament and to come. And it just feels like this man is trying to prove a point to somebody. I don't know who he's trying to prove a point to. This man is a 5-time Ballon d'Or winner. He's won the European Championships. He's lost the European Championships against Greece in 2004. This man has done everything you can do in the sport other than win the World Cup. And you see the way he was in tears. In tears. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I saw Ronaldo in tears before the second half of the extra time. And it felt like, is this really what this man has come to? Is this really what one of the greatest players we've ever seen in the sport is coming to? A penalty miss against Slovenia in the round of 16 of the European Championships? It feels so pathetic. Why is he? I don't know who he's trying to prove a point to. You look at his performance throughout the game, he was pocketed by Krucic. I can't really remember his name. No offense to him. Ball defender. Any of you who watched the game will know who I'm talking about. He was incredible throughout the game. Ronaldo didn't have a sniff. He didn't have a sniff the whole game. And that's fine. You're 39. And I was saying this even before the tournament. I believe that Ronaldo should be an impact sub for Portugal. I feel like when you need somebody to come off the bench and make an impact on the game, be that goal scorer. The same way we're seeing Jude Bellingham now. May not give you that incredible 90-minute performance, but in the clutch moments, they will turn up. Ronaldo did it his entire career. You cannot justify that. You cannot argue against it. Whether you prefer Ronaldo or you prefer Messi, Ronaldo in the big moments turned up for Real Madrid, for Portugal, for Juventus, for Man United. No matter who he was playing for, this man turned up. So to me, it doesn't make sense for you to even start him because he doesn't give you anything other than goal scoring. So why not bring someone else into the side who has build-up play, who can run the channels, who gives you a bit more calm? Because it feels as though every single player in the team is trying to play to accommodate Ronaldo, when that should not be the case. You have a litany of incredible players in this Portugal squad, but Ronaldo is the one who's getting all the pressure and all the headlines. He's 39. Time has caught up with him. Let him go. It's the end. It's not the end of the world if you don't win this tournament. It's not the end of the world if you don't score in every game. Play for the team. Foster this new incoming generation of Portugal players. Lead them, guide them, advise them. This man is out here trying to do superhero football like he's still in his 20s. Let it go, man. Let it go. He's just, at this point, he's just tarnishing his legacy even more. And I know this is a controversial topic, but I'm not even a Ronaldo fan. But I'm watching this man go out there playing against Slovenia, playing against Turkey, against Georgia, against Czech Republic. None of these teams are very good teams. He has not played well in any of these games. And it feels like he's trying too much. Sometimes in football, you just need to play. Don't try too much. Don't think about it. Just play. Get into good areas. Don't think too much about it. Don't get too overworked. Just play football. We all know Ronaldo's a good player. I don't want to believe that Mikauts, I can't pronounce his name, the Georgian striker who's recently gone to Monaco, top goal scorer. I don't want to believe that guy is better than Ronaldo. Ronaldo can score goals, but it just feels like he's trying to force it. Relax. Relax. That's something that I picked up from the game. Even his penalty miss, you look at the way he was standing up, setting up for the goal. Throughout the game, didn't have a good game. He looked so, something I've never seen Ronaldo throughout his career. He looked panicked. He didn't look confident in himself whatsoever. whatsoever. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame. You heard Jamie Carragher many months ago talking about Casemiro. Leave the football before the football leaves you. Mate, you've done everything. If I don't want Ronaldo to leave the game with people thinking that, with this being the last thought in their head when it comes to Ronaldo, this guy is one of the best players to ever play the game. Don't get it twisted. Don't think just because of these last few months, last few years, that Ronaldo is not one of the best. He still is. But when you go out there and perform this way, and then you have this sort of mentality, this sort of personality on the field, how do you expect anybody to be empathetic towards you, especially with the track record he has before this? The way he talked about Messi, the way he talks about his other competitors, the way he's talked about previous managers. Nobody's gonna feel empathetic towards you. It just feels like a very sad ending for one of the best players I've ever seen, second best player I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. But we move on for Ronaldo. You look at Slovenia, they put up an incredible fight throughout the game, but I was very, 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 very frustrated with watching how this Slovenia team kept Portugal at bay for 120 minutes, yet went up to penalty shootouts and missed every single penalty they took. That was incredibly dismaying. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. This team fought tooth and nail for almost 2 hours, and then you get to the penalty shootouts and you don't even turn up. That made absolutely no sense to me. But the game shouldn't have even gone to penalty shootouts, and that's where the third thing that I wanted to talk about comes into play. Benjamin Sesko. Mate, if this guy is the striker that people are saying they want to buy, Arsenal, Chelsea, I was seeing Liverpool before the tournament. Goodness me, this man had no impact in this tournament. No impact in any of the group games. He was a complete bystander, and I'm not even judging him just off of this game in particular, in which he missed two huge chances. You look at his games in the group stages against three teams that really are not that good. England have not been good. Serbia were not good. Denmark were not good. And Šeško was absolutely anonymous. All three games, anonymous. His strike partner, Spora, don't remember his first name. He was absolutely atrocious in every single game they played. I feel for Benjamin Sesko in a bit because his strike partner lacked any sort of common sense when it came to decision making. It felt as though every time he had the ball, he was rushing to make a decision despite having time and space on the ball. So that was definitely something that I was very, very annoyed at. But all things considered, Slovenia were fantastic. You look at the way they played, so good defensively. Nuno Mendes, I think, is probably the only Portugal player who can leave this game with his head held up high. You look at Vitinha too. He got subbed off. I don't know why. Bruno Fernandes played almost 120 minutes despite being arguably one of the worst players on the field. Bernardo Silva likewise. Whereas Vitinha, who was actually creating a few nice, tidy possessions, got hooked off in the 60th minute. Doesn't make any sense to me. You're going to have favorites in national teams. I expect that. Roberto Martinez has shown once again that this man is not fit to manage top-tier teams. To manage top-tier teams with top-tier talent, he cannot do it. I thoroughly expect Portugal to get knocked out in the next round by France. And I look at someone like Ronaldo, who struggled, fought for his life against Slovenia center-backs. I can't even imagine what Saliba and Upamecano are going to do to him. And Saliba and Upamecano are the next thing we're going to talk about, as France overcame Belgium in a 1-0 victory, a slender 1-0 victory, in a game in which they dominated shot-wise, but you look at the overall balance of the play, it felt like a pretty even game. Now, the main thing that I wanted to touch on in this France game was I feel like people are underestimating France. France feel like Real Madrid right now. It feels as though they're not going to win games convincingly. They're not really going to play well, but they're just going to find a way. Now they're playing Portugal. I thoroughly expect them to beat Portugal. Especially, I look at the way Portugal played today. I don't expect them to have any trouble beating Portugal. Kylian Mbappe, once again, anonymous. Antoine Griezmann, one of my favorite players in the world. He came back into the side after being left out against Poland. And in this game, he played in the right wing, which I didn't really understand. I believed that as the game went on, he would kind of drift into that central area as Antoine Griezmann tends to do. But he didn't do that. He really just stayed on the right wing. As you can see from his average positioning here. He was wide throughout the game. Koundé was overlapping for him. And that was something that I didn't understand. Koundé was incredible in the game defensively. Offensively, not much. He got the assist in the end, but he didn't really do much for me offensively. Theo Hernandez as well. But I look at this France team, and before I even get to the bad, I want to talk about the good. You look at someone like Saliba and Upamecano and Aurelien Chouameni. That back three is imperious. You have N'Golo Kante in front of them too, and Adrien Rabiot. I don't see anybody in this tournament breaking that defense down. And that's why I feel like France are being overlooked, because this France team, they may not be getting the goals. They may not be winning games convincingly. I don't think they've scored an open play goal. No, they haven't. 2 own goals and a penalty. Yet these guys are in the quarterfinals. And in my eyes, they're already in the semifinals. So they're going to play Spain or Germany. And even though Spain and Germany have been 2 of the best teams in the tournament, in a one-off game in a semi-final between Deschamps, who has been here, done it, against De La Fuente. I'm not saying De La Fuente is a bad manager, but De La Fuente has never been here before. Against Mbappe, against Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams. These are 2 evenly matched sides, but France just have that experience. It looks like they just have that experience, that know-how of how to get across the line in the end. And that midfield structure, that defense, it's so imperious. I don't see anybody breaking them down. They're so fast. They're so quick in transition. There's no such thing as we're going to get France on the break. Who do you have that's faster than Saliba? Who do you have that's faster than Upamecano? Who do you have that's faster than Theo Hernandez? Unless you have Kylian Mbappe himself or Ousmane Dembele, who are both French themselves, so you don't have them. They are incredibly quick in transition. There was a chance that Belgium created. Kevin De Bruyne played it into Carrasco. I thought he was through. And Theo Hernandez caught up with him in the blink of an eye. He caught up with him immediately. And of course, Maignan makes the save. And then, of course, you have Mike Maignan behind that incredible defense. Like, what do you want people to do? They can't do anything. So I feel like going into this game, especially against Portugal, who just look lackluster going forward. Their defense is solid, Portugal. But going forward, they don't look good. I can see that game being a very rigid, cagey affair. I can see that game going to extra time, penalties. To be honest, at that point, anything can happen. But I can see Portugal nicking it. Sorry, not Portugal. I can see France nicking it. Maybe through some Mbappe magic. Mbappe is still yet to perform in this tournament. It's been 4 games now. Okay, fair enough, he broke his nose, but this guy still has not put in a single good performance throughout this Euros. But I guess he's the best player in the world. And now that we've talked about the good and how I believe France are still generally, arguably the favorites, I want to talk about the bad. Now, it's difficult to talk about the bad because with France, when you talk about the bad, there's also good sides to it. Because when you talk about Adrien Rabiot now, I look at that France midfield and there's nothing in that midfield creativity-wise. Absolutely nothing in that midfield. Aurelien Chouameni is basically playing center back. N'Golo Kante is not going to give you anything offensively. Adrien Rabiot, I really don't understand. Me as a footballing fan, I watch football. I watch Real Madrid. I watch France. I've watched most of the players in this French squad. I don't understand how Adrien Rabiot consistently gets picked ahead of Eduardo Camavinga. There is nothing that Adrien Rabiot can do that Eduardo Camavinga cannot do. Nothing. There is nothing. Defensively, I'd say they're on par. Probably would even give it to Camavinga. Offensively, Camavinga gives you a lot more. He can carry the ball better. He can play long balls. There is nothing that Adrien Rabiot gives you over Camavinga. I don't understand this obsession with Didier Deschamps. Because the midfield lacked any sort of genuine forward-moving prowess. Throughout the game, it was sideways, backwards, and okay, yes, they got into good positions, but N'Golo Kante is not the man who's going to play that killer pass to Kylian Mbappe or killer pass to Marcus Thuram. Adrien Rabiot is not going to do the same either on the other side. And Aurelien Chouameni is basically playing as a third center back, so he's not going to do that. And then that's where somebody like Antoine Griezmann comes in. And that's why I don't even understand it even more. Because you look at Antoine Griezmann's positioning on the field. Why is he so wide? You look at his heat map here. Why is he so wide? He's playing so wide. Throughout the game, Antoine Griezmann was basically playing as a right winger. When at any point in Antoine Griezmann's career have we ever identified him as a right winger? That's never been a thing. In this game, he was isolated, had next to no impact. Why would he? He was playing right wing. And then it's not even as though he was playing right wing and then you had Jules Koundé bombing on and creating constant threat on the right side. Jules Koundé is a center back. I don't understand why you don't just make Jules Koundé play as that right center back, bring Antoine Griezmann farther up the field, and play an orthodox right winger on the right side. Fair enough, Ousmane Dembele has been atrocious in this tournament, But even still, at least gives you a threat on that right side. There was no threat on the right side throughout the game. Fair enough, the goal came from the right side, but this was a simple pass to Kolomwani, deflected shot. There was nothing incredible about the goal that France scored. There was nothing incredible about it. So I look at that, and even though I say France are good enough to win the tournament, the lack of threat on the right side really scares me, especially when Kylian Mbappe is doing absolutely nothing on the other side. How are you gonna be a threat against genuinely good opposition? Genuinely good opposition. How are you gonna be a threat? So that's definitely something that I didn't like. I didn't like at all. You need to give your team a bit of creativity. Give them some support. Mbappe's out there doing it on his own. Marcus Thuram was completely isolated the entire game. The entire game he was isolated. He had nobody to work with because Kylian Mbappe's on the left side. They've overcrowded him because they know they can leave Griezmann on the right. Griezmann's not going to do anything from the right. Griezmann's not a player who's going to pick up the ball, get past 2, 3, 4, and then put it in the top corner. That's not his game. He's a number 10. But if you put him in the number 10, who's going to play on the right? N'Golo Kante? Come on, man. Didier Deschamps. It's worked so far, and it might even win them the whole tournament. But I just look at the way it's set up today. This was a poor Belgium team. Frankly, it's a poor Belgian team, and even Belgium themselves. You look at someone like Lukaku, only won 2 out of 10 is 10 duels in the entire game. Only 0 ground duels won, only 2 aerial duels won. I don't even blame him coming up against Saliba and Upamecano, both quick, both as strong as him. I didn't expect him to do anything in this game. But I look at someone like Kevin De Bruyne. Domenico Tedesco completely removed Kevin De Bruyne from having any impact in this game. Played him next to Amadou Onana as though he's a central midfielder or a central defensive midfielder, like he's Yuri Tielemans. Kevin De Bruyne is a number 10. This guy is basically the second striker. Get him up the field, close to Lukaku, creating chances, getting shot off at goal. That's what you need Kevin De Bruyne to be doing. He played Luis Openda, I get it, to sort of play as a 2v2 against France's center backs, but it didn't work in the first half. So take him off at halftime, change it, bring on an actual central defensive midfielder in Mangala, get some enforcement in the midfield, get some legs in there so that Kevin De Bruyne is not the one running around. Kevin De Bruyne playing as a central defensive or center midfielder is literally nothing close to what his actual abilities pertain to. This guy is a number 10. He doesn't have the legs to be running up and down anymore, to be doing all that. Carrasco had no impact in the game. Jeremy Doku, this man, we need to have a discussion about this guy because some games he's incredible. The other game, he's absolutely useless. Doesn't have any sort of end product. His decision making is all over the place. And then other games, you're like, wow, this guy needs to be playing every single game for Belgium and for Man City. He doesn't have any idea of tempo. I think that's the word. He doesn't know when he needs to speed it up and when he should slow it down. The times he's speeding it up, he needs to play it back to his teammate. The time he's slowing it down, his teammates are not ready for him to be slowing it down because they are all pressing forward to go and attack, but he's slowing the game down. So this is the last time for Belgium at a major competition with Kevin De Bruyne, with Romelu Lukaku, with Courtois, who for some reason was not called up to this tournament. I didn't really understand that decision. Last time for Jan Vertonghen. The entire old guard, golden generation as you call them, all of them are gone now. For the next World Cup 2026, I'd be surprised if any of them are really in that squad. And even if they are, I doubt they're going to be as influential as they have been in previous tournaments. But for the most part, I think Belgium put up a good fight. They put up a good game. France were just a bit too much, I guess, in the end. They dominated the entire game. Belgium didn't really pose much of a threat throughout the game other than, I'd say, the Kevin De Bruyne shot and the Carrasco shot. So all in all, France qualify. Portugal as well qualify. And they face off against each other on Friday. That should be a pretty interesting game. As I said, as I've said throughout the video, you guys will already know, I thoroughly expect France to win that game. This Portugal side does not move me whatsoever. Slovenia almost beat them. Should have beat them if Benjamin Sesko had his shooting boots on. But then at the same time, France haven't been good either. So it's an interesting one. I doubt it's going to be a good game, but at least we have Spain and Germany to keep us alive. But as always, thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel. As I said at the beginning, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 500 subscribers before the end of the month. That's my goal. Before August, which is my birthday month, let's get to 500 subscribers. That would be a huge milestone. It feels like we got to 200 subscribers like last week. The growth on the channel has been absolutely unprecedented. Thank you guys so much. As I said, share with anybody you think will like the content. Let me know your thoughts on France, Belgium, Portugal, Slovenia, or even Spain and Germany. I didn't even talk about Spain and Germany, but I've already given you guys my thoughts on what I think is going to happen in that game in the other videos. in the Switzerland video, which we're going to pop up here. As I said, thank you guys so much for watching. It's au revoir from me. Take care of yourselves.